sounds pretty good.
I mean, you're splitting hairs.
Yeah.
I can kind of hear a difference, but it's 99.9% of the DNA.
Yeah, it's pretty much there. So this is Profiling 2.0. I've had it for a little while. You've had it for a little while.
A couple weeks, yeah.
What do you think?
It's I'll say it's clearer. That's what my ears hear. There's a clarity to it.
Clearer is a good word for it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have loved that that squishy, nice feeling, like kind of mid-range compression thing.
Yeah.
And if you like that, great.
You can still have it.
You can still have it, right? They're still classic.
Oh, yeah.
And I think there's even some tricks. There's some parameters that you can increase and decrease that sort of give you some of that feel back.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, clearer, like dare I say, I don't know, maybe punchier. It just feels more amp-like to me. I think clearer is a really good word for it.
Clearer, and I feel like it responds better as you turn the volume down on the guitar. It's more of a natural sounding.
Yeah.
It doesn't start sounding digital as you turn your volume down.
Yeah, to me, using all the platforms, this 2.0 to me feels very much on par with everything else out there.
Yeah.
With ToneX, QC. It just feels like it's all become so amp-like. I don't ever wish I'm on something else.
Yeah.
And it does feel a little bit, I never had a problem with the way the Kemper sounded.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we talk about liking that mid-range, you know, kind of thing. It's very like comfortable to play, but it does feel a little like a little blanket has just been lifted off.
That's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
Just
maybe not quite a blanket, maybe a sheet.
layer.
We just put
I just call it a layer. There's always like a layer of something on top.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like we've lifted the layers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels good. It feels great. People can still use classic.
Oh yeah.
And something important to note, which I haven't done a lot of testing with, but we'll have to test this. 2.0 profiles work on the older units, the MK1 Kempers. So, and those two processes sound different.
Yeah.
So we've made like 2.0 profiles, 1.0 profiles, and the 2.0s have that sort of lifted layer taken off. They have that clarity, and they are sort of down-resed for the 1.0. And I think we're going to get some increased accuracy even on the MK1 Kempers. You know, it's I know in the 2.0 there's just more points of sort of reference to build the profile, and whereas the MK1 or the classic profiling, you know, less points of reference, but it's a sound we've all kind of loved.
Yeah, I mean, I still love my my classic profiles.
Yeah,
I haven't even gotten to try these out yet. The 2.0s on the road yet, so I've yet to see if they're going to kick my other ones off the board yet. But we'll have to wait and see
if they're going to work on the stage.
Yeah,
but we still have all the deep editing that we that we love. That makes the Kemper so great. Kind of all the definition control and you know, clarity, right? That's a big one. Just all sorts of stuff. I've been using tube shape a lot lately, which is a subtle control, but it's interesting what it does. But there's a brand new one. It's kind of a big deal.
It's very cool. Yeah.
It's a resonance control, and this is where it's actually calculating the resonance of your actual cabinet.
Yeah.
And it gives you control over it. It gives you control over sort of the amount of resonance that you can dial in or take away, and it also allows you to edit, you know, on the frequency spectrum. Where it is, which is really cool. I've sort of been using this. We can play around with it a little bit right here.
Yeah.
So we'll go to the Kemper amp here, and I'll hold down cab. You can do this when you save it, or we just, you know, we're going back and forth with the real amp here. And this calculated the resonance at 88.6 hertz. Okay. So that's the resonance frequency, and then we have the reso intensity. So if you play a little bit, and you know, something with some low strings in there. So that came out at 2.5. I'll put it back to the original level there. Yeah. So you can hear right there, it's more than sort of a bass control.
Yeah.
And I think for this reason, you just heard it going up and down there on the 88 hertz, right? Which is pretty low.
Right.
A lot of guitars are going to get
Well, the Marshalls that I profiled, they're up around 160 even, 140, 160. So
Right.
they all have different resonance frequencies.
I think in general, closed back is going to have a little higher.
Yeah, I think so.
And but what's a sound guy going to do if you walk in there with a bunch of 80 hertz? Right.
He's going to put a high pass filter
Right.
on it. You're not going to hear it anyway.
You're going to get high passed at like 110, 120. Yeah. So, really what's cool about this is it can be a cool tool to sort of really change in the digital world the sound of something that would be very difficult to do. I don't think you really could do this in the analog world.
I love just being able to fine tune that low end.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of, sometimes when we're going through profiles, that's what I'm looking for, is that balance between the highs and lows. And it's just another tool that we can use to balance them, right?
Especially with small amps. A lot of times we love small amps, but they might be too shallow in the low end.
Princeton's especially.
Princeton's, and it's a great way to make it feel
like a bigger amp.
Bigger amp, wider, kind of. That's what I was saying. So here we'll put this resonance up about 140, and now we'll move that around.
Okay. It's definitely got more of that Marshall mid-rangey growl and less of the low tubbiness that a Fender has. That would sit in the mix great, I think.
That would be nice, yeah. And that's kind of, you take away all the lower stuff. I mean, we could low pass it, or we could put the low cut on and take it away like a sound guy would. But this is giving you kind of more of we have control over the frequency we actually want more of.
Right.
I think that's really cool, And then I'll go even higher just for fun. But like you said, a little more of the, a little more Marshall-y, but in this like Fender package,
Yeah.
I think that's a super cool new feature.
I love it.
I'm excited to use that. Sometimes, I don't know about you, I'm trying to take a small amp, and small amps are great, but sometimes I'm like, man, if my deluxe just sounded like wider, more 3D, if I could make it really thump more, it would be the only amp I need.
Yeah.
But of course not. It's not the only amp I need. Right?
You're way overkill if I look around. Yeah.
I got a few, and there's a ton more in the Kemper.
Yeah.
Okay, so people might be wondering, MK2 can do both 2.0 profiles and classic profiles.
Right.
MK1, it just has classic profiles.
Right.
2.0 profiles, you have to be plugged into Rig Manager.
Yep.
You've got to be plugged in, and it automatically sort of puts you over.
But you can still select classic in Rig Manager if you want to do it that way.
So you get the choice there, and it sort of tells you what you're doing.
Yeah.
But interesting test. I wanted to see, I'm sure you did this too.
Yeah.
Classic verse, right? Like, how do these things actually come out? How different sounding are they?
Yeah.
And so I kind of did that. So let me pull up this deluxe reverb. I did these moments apart, and it's liquid profile, one setting, done as 2.0, done as 1.0. Let's see what we hear. Here's the 2.0 first.
All right.
Very nice. That's a good riff. You'll have to teach me that later. Here's.
My ears are used to that sound.
Yes.
When I hear the 2.0, I feel like it's got more bottom end. It's a little more amp-like feeling.
It's like,
but I'm so used to this. That's just like home. But
wider is the word I feel.
Yeah, totally wider.
Wider is the word I feel. So I've noticed this tendency over time. Maybe you have too. Classic profiling. If there's one tendency I would give it, of course, like on the playback, we feel like there's a Kemper feel to a degree.
Yeah.
But if there's one tendency I would say the Kemper has, it's some shelving of the low end compared to a reference amp. Do you find this?
Yes and no. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's definitely some differences.
Yeah.
I noticed the compression more than anything.
Sure.
And the smoothness and the kind of mid-range of the originals.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just what
Of the classic.
literally have. Yeah,
Of
the
the classic.
classics.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I've literally been playing Kempers for 10 years now.
Right,
So that sounds normal to me. You know.
Right. You
so
like it.
The new ones, I'm like, okay, it's different. It's like plugging into a real amp, and you have to approach it a little different. But I feel like it's more clear. It's more responsive in a way too.
Yeah.
There is that compression bit that I missed, but you can always add it.
Right. We could talk about that. The sort of clean comp and even there's a compressor in the amp section that people might like to start using.
Correct.
If they want their 2.0s to sort of feel more like a 1.0.
Right.
Isn't that funny? We become so used to like just the character of the 1.0 that now, like you said, it's more amp-like, but now it feels like I'm plugging into an amp, but I play a Kemper because I like the sound of it, right? Because you get so used to it.
Well, compression's that weird thing though, because it's good when you're playing at low volume because it kind of makes it feel like it's not low volume and wimpy.
Yeah.
And also when you're blasting your ears as much as I do in the ear monitors, I like not having any transient spikes to kill me. So that compression has always been a good thing for me. And I think I can still get that with the 2.0 and still get the clarity and the responsiveness, because it responds better to turning volume down.
Yeah, I'll put this back on 2.0 and maybe you can kind of show that.
Yeah.
This is a deluxe like on 4.
It'll be more noticeable on like a dirty profile.
Here, I can turn it up. We got a liquid profile, and so it's like it's like the same thing. What do you want, 6?
Sure.
Let's try that.
That's pretty realistic.
I mean, it is pretty realistic. It sounds great.
Yeah.
It sounds
There's
great.
not a bad
and
spot.
by the way,
on
I had a
that.
compressor on the front end there. Try that again without the. Yeah, I always have it too. But
It's fun to play.
I mean, it's dirty to clean kind of. I mean, you can.
If you are one of the guys that rides your volume knob, this works really, really well.
It's a fun trick. A lot of guys do it, and that's what they look for. And that also tells you dynamically what's going to happen when you're using overdrives and stuff. The more responsive an amp like the response is on any digital device, the more you're going to feel kind of at home with.
Right.
How much boosting can you get? Where's the compression going to kick in when you start slamming the front of it and stuff? What I hear, jumping back to that 1.0, 2.0 thing, what I hear is there's been a lot of times where I do dirtier stuff, like classic Marshall turned up, Vox turned up, and I actually prefer the Kemper because that natural shave off of some of the lower end makes it tighter, and I like that. But then on the cleaner stuff, I'd hear that width, and I'd go, this is something that's not 100% accurate. It's missing from the profile. 2.0 feels like, wow, you get this wide sound now, and you get more of that, and now it's something where I'm finding myself going, okay, that's enough of that. Now I need to tailor my sound a little more to get a little less of that low end. So maybe it's lowering the resonance control, or maybe it's
turning up the definition a smidge.
Yeah, or even using the low cut, and just going right to like, okay, I'm going to low cut it to 100, 120, and kind of have more of a mix ready sound that way.
I feel like the Kemper has always had a lot of tweakability, like compared to some of the other, it doesn't matter what other device, it just has, even compared to a real amp, take a real amp, you have definition, clarity, all these things. And so it's always been, if you can think of what you want to change or what do you want it to sound different, you can usually find a parameter that'll do just that.
Yeah, for sure. I think it kind of goes without saying. I would put it as number one in tweakability. Maybe people have another opinion about this. The Fractal's very tweakable and stuff. But for me, with what we call like the deep editing, you get these controls. I think this is what we both love about it.
Yeah.
You get these controls that you just don't have in the analog world.
Yeah.
You get definition. I've heard you say, like, I wish I had definition on my Vox, right? Or
totally.
something, right? And it's like, hey, the Vox has a cut, and we all love that cut, right? That's cool too. But like definition, clarity, that clean comp.
Yeah, clean comp.
It's you just, where you're getting control over compression at different states of clean and dirty, something you just don't get without decibels on a tube amp.
Right.
And I don't even know if it's physically possible to build a tube amp that would do that.
Yeah.
But it would be exceedingly difficult. You know, even pick and clarity, it's just, there's a ton in there. Even the amp compression, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to be able to increase the sag, you know?
Right.
I guess in the real world, you can pop in a solid state rectifier, and that's one version of doing it. But it's just cool to have all that. And then cab shifts, resonance. It really is a lot of tweakability that you just don't find anywhere else. And that's one of the things why I feel like I come back to it is I know what those things do to my sound. Yeah. And I really enjoy what they do to my sound. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're all really musical. And like this new resonance thing with the 2.0, that's going to be a game changer for me because there's so many profiles I don't use because of the low end balance or something like that. Yeah,
and sometimes you want to get more lows, but it's maybe already got too much of the lows you're fighting.
Right.
So it's nice to be able to shift that up, give yourself a little more, shelve it, rather than you go shelve it and then it's like, I kind of took away too much. I needed to take more, but it's taking the fundamental base away. You know what I mean?
Well, have you ever made profiles where you think they're great when you're doing them in the room and then you come back later and it's just like way too much bottom end?
Every Thursday. This is what I do.
That it's so nice. Just you don't wasting all those profiles. You can just sit there and fix them.
Yeah, you can just shift them a little bit.
Yeah,
and that's what's awesome about it. You can also do this on the player. That's really important. You can profile on the player, and all the players are MK2s. So if you have a player, you have an MK2 Kemper, and they can profile. I'm sure I'll do a video on that. There's one extra step for the listening back because there's less jacks on the back. Yeah. So basically at the end when you want to listen to what you've created, you kind of got to switch a cable. But it's doable, and it's pretty easy to do. These sound great. Are you? How much work do we have to do now?
We have a lot of work because I got a room full of amps. You've got a larger room full of amps, but
got a few.
Yeah, but the good thing is with the liquid profiling, you don't have to do step-by-step profiles of every amp. You just do the liquids and
and there's liquids for classic and 2.0 kind of works the same way there. Liquids, if there's a tone stack in there, you can make a liquid. And
I need to ask Christoph to put a volume tone, like a simple Fender volume tone circuit.
Like just to put on there,
that'd be a great little tone stack to have.
Yeah, sure. I'd love a Vox cut on basically everything.
Well, I love the Vox cut.
Why not,
I use the Vox cut on non-Vox amps because I love having that cut.
That's one of the great things about liquid profiles. 2.0 is legit.
Wow.
If I didn't say it before, should we say game changer? Does that get used too much?
I feel like it's been a game changer for 12 years for me. It really has.
The game was changed.
I feel like I'm just elevated to another level.
Yeah. Well, it's. I think a lot of people are going to be really happy with this, and I'm really happy with it. It's really spectacular. And like I said, it feels on par with all the other stuff I'm playing. So I'm pretty stoked about it. Can't wait for you guys to check it out.
Yeah.